Hello YouTube, it's John7 here, and today we're going to do that faux wood grain I was talking about. So first things first, you're going to want your PVC bow. This broken one that I was talking about. It's the only bow I haven't done yet with something. So I sanded it down. You want to use a really coarse sandpaper. I don't really like to use fine. Fine works, but the coarser it is, that I find the more the grain appears more. It's just more visible, and in my opinion it's a little bit more durable. I tried both, and the coarser grit sandpaper really is staying on there in relation to the other one. So then I use the same thing Piatek uses. It's Kiwi brand Color Shine. I used they have brown, black, and some really weird, what looks like milk chocolate or whatever. This stuff is, in my opinion, the better of the three. I also have the black, but since I'm going to try something with this again. If not, it'll just go to actually what it's for, my black boots. And we'll see. Let's see how we do this. Alright, so first things first, like I said, you sand it down. The handle isn't as important because usually you want to throw some kind of wrapping over it. You don't have to, because it's pretty easy to patchwork this stuff if something gets rubbed off, and it actually is almost unnoticeable. So if you want to keep the handle as wood, just one solid piece of wood looking, that'll work. And the heavier the coats are, the easier it is to scratch off, because your fingernail can get into the soft spots. So keep that in mind if you're just gonna do one piece with no enamel, or even just really thick coat with no handle wraps or anything. So you want to sand it down as coarse as you can get it, all the way as evenly as you can get it. I didn't do this part because I don't plan on doing the whole bow, just this limb. So then you grab your applicator. It's like Tim said, you see it fits perfectly over 3/4 inch, which is what this is, and anything bigger, and you won't necessarily have trouble, but it's a lot easier to get this to look right. So then the easiest thing to do is just to start you push it down to get the stuff on, and you just wipe it down. It's not very essential that you get it even at the first bit, more just that you get it on there. I was reading somewhere that on the outside, I think it's called the belly, that you really, in real longbow terms, or self bows, I'm not sure what it was, if there's a difference at all, you want to leave there a maximum of 1 growth ring, I think I read. And that's what you're supposed to limit yourself to. Since this has to flex, the growth rings, it would be working against the bow in that case if there were more than one. So, or none would be preferable, but more than one, and you could have problems, is what I read. So if you're going for realism, you might want to look into that, because you might want to there might be a growth ring limit here on the outside. But on the inside, I didn't read anything about that matter, so you can be a little bit more creative on the inside. So we're going to do a quick go over it again. Get a nice deep color in there. Now remember, every time I'm not pushing hardcore down. See, I'm not bringing out new stuff every time. I'm just smoothing it out, making sure I get a nice even tone. I'll make sure you get this ends here. The ends, these are usually the parts that don't want to stay, because you don't sand them as evenly. I didn't sand this, so it's a little bit lighter. That's what happens when you're not even with your sanding. So what we'll do is we'll try and do a very gradual growth ring on the belly of this bow. We'll try and get a very gradual looking one by just going like this. Try and smooth it in there. I'm not very good at this yet, so forgive me if it's not the best. Actually, I did it a little bit too dark, so we'll just go with a second coat. That's the great thing about this stuff, is you can just keep going. You don't need to necessarily stop anywhere. You can just keep going until you like the color. If you mess up, just go another layer over. It's not going to mess anything up. Very forgiving stuff. Here is the back side of the bow, and you can be a lot more creative with what you want to do here. Keep in mind this is the side that you're going to be looking at when you're firing the bow, so it's more essential that you get it looking right here because this is the side that's probably going to bother you if you do it wrong. There we go. See, we got a nice little ring there. See if we can get some more. There we go. Got a nice little set of rings. I like that. It's not bad. And I like to bring a few rings, little tiny rings, near the handle, as if it was kind of cut a little bit more than it should. Doesn't necessarily need to make sense since this is still PVC and it's still all for fun. It's not necessary. It doesn't necessarily have to be uber realistic. So there we go. That's not bad. It's not bad at all. Probably a little bit more on this side than I needed to with the growth rings, but for what it's worth, it's actually not bad. And then if you were to do a handle wrap, it would cover up most of this, although I'd probably go a little bit deeper into the handle. Not very essential. There you go. And then when you handle wrap, it'll cover up all the bad spots, you know, in your handle, your white spots, and your limb will be all that's left. And then you want to let the more this sits, the more durable it'll be. I've had the other one sitting for around 5 days, and now they've taken some pretty big nicks, and they still haven't really worn out. And then after a few days of really setting in there, or earlier, I'm not sure if earlier or setting is worse on this. You want to put some enamel on it. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it since I know how to patch these pretty well. I've gotten pretty good at that. But that would be how you do this, YouTube. It looks really good. From a distance, it's virtually impossible to tell that this is not wood. Unless maybe if you're some kind of master bowyer and you know that somebody, you know, could not possibly build a bow, you know, with this type of ring style or something like that. I don't know. But to the untrained eye, to somebody who doesn't spend their time around lumber all the time, I have very serious doubts that anyone could ever spot this as for what it is. You just want to touch up, make it even. Alright, and so that's just one limb. Let me go show you what a finished product looks like. Okay, so this would be one of my finished bows. This was my second attempt at doing this technique. I've gotten better at it since. See, this one has a lot of growth rings. I wasn't necessarily going for realism here, more or less just testing out what this stuff does, how it works, and if I can do it good. It's got a wrapping here, like I said, to protect the back finish. It looks this is about the finished product. You want to do a handle wrap, and wherever the string is going to make contact, you're probably going to want to wrap and enamel that. But besides that, you're good, and enjoy, YouTube.